Hey family, what is happening? We're having technical difficulties, but we made it. We made it. We're here. We are here and we're gonna get it on and popping. I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to grab your beverage, grab your snack, make it do what it do before I bring on our special guest for today and try to figure out this technology.
Hello, my love.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Just making sure that you can hear me okay. Is the volume good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Good to see you. Good to see you.
How are you?
Doing good. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this day has gone by so fast. Like, just got back from training, maybe a few hours ago. But yeah, the tiredness is real.
I mean, I would expect it to be real.
It is very, very much so real. But we're here, so I'm all
We're
good.
here. We made it.
We made it, girl. We made it.
Thanks for coming to sit with us and talk to us. I'm just gonna say up front, I'm gonna get all in your business today.
Okay, well, I may choose to not answer some questions or pretend that I've got some technical difficulties and can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get in your business. It's fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Everything is great. So you just mentioned you came back from training today. So how often do you go to training?
So I train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 days a week. Is like my main part of the week, and then I get Sunday off as like a complete off day. Like I would say it feels like 7 days a week, because even like on my recovery days, I've got to still do something, whether it's like stretching. So let's say 5/6 days a week.
That does not sound tolerable. So hats off.
Listen, don't feel sorry for me. This is literally what I signed up for. I read the fine print and I was still like, okay, let's get to
it. So you said you go to work quite like basically every day of the week except Sunday. Do you find time for like downtime? Do you have time to have like balance, or is it always like on the go?
I feel like it's always on the go, and if I make time, it's like a conscious effort to have to try and make time, because because I'm training all the time. When the weekend does come, for most people it's just like, hey, it's time to go out. But for me, I'm like, oh, finally I can breathe. Like, let me just take a moment just to relax. But then, of course, like, I miss some of my friends. So then it's that whole thing of, you know what, maybe this is the time to, see them for a little bit. And if I do see them, try and find the least energetic activity that there is, like going for a coffee or something. So it is hard, like, yes, but I try and do my best to make it work.
I hear that. I think for me during the week, I feel like I'm always on go. So when the weekend comes and people are like, oh, we haven't seen you, we should do something, I want to sleep. I want to sit at home. I want to watch TV. I want to do something that does not require any kind of energy or movement. Like, don't talk to me, please.
And it's like when I think I saw a meme when it says something about when the plans get cancelled last minute, and you're just like, yes, like, you don't have to worry about me. That's the best news that I've heard. So
they gotta worry about me because I wasn't gonna come anyway. Don't do that.
Precisely.
You said you don't have a lot of downtime, but like, I low-key stalk you. So okay, I said here now.
One Instagram.
Here now. From what I've been seeing, like, you dress up, you go to movie premieres, you live on boats and wear furs and dresses. So I feel like you got a little bit of balance. Like, it's giving glamorous, it's giving soft girl, it's giving I'm living my life.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Do you know what? As like, obviously on Instagram, everyone shares like the positive or the highlights of their life and all that kind of stuff. But I will say this last month has been more busy than usual. I don't feel like this is my everyday, you know, standard going to movie premieres and whatever. It's just as the years come to an end, suddenly I've been invited to a lot of activities and I've actually like accepted them. But it's also kind of nice for me to do something like outside of training and just remember that, you know, I'm a person before I'm an athlete first and foremost. And so yeah, you could say your girl's been outside, you know, having a good time. outside Sorry, I just wanted to say hi to a couple of the people that have said hello.
Go ahead.
We have hey Adam, Ben, I think, what is it, Adam _ Ben _ 789, hello. And then another person said Lansana, good evening Desiree, hello. Okay, sorry, hi.
If you come across any questions, feel free to just ask, because some people are asking questions as we're talking, so feel free to just go.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you want to wait at the end, during, just let me know.
So I feel like I'll just randomly throw in questions and you won't know which one are mine and which one are other people's. You won't know. It's just going to be a thing. No Matthew asking, how long do you hope to be in athletics?
I hope to be in athletics until I can't anymore. Like, I'm not saying that I'm gonna be, you know, in my late 30s / early 40s, like still going, because I kind of see that age as like part 2 of life, like another part to enjoy, put all my effort into, like more exciting times. But at the same time, I never, like, especially because I'm in it right now, I don't want to put a complete limit or time frame on it. So I can't completely answer that question, but you could say that right now I'm just going with the flow. I'm enjoying it right now. So that's the area and space that I'm going with. So as long as that lasts for a very, very long time, then I'll be in the sport for a very, very long time.
I love that. I need you to teach me how to go with the flow, because I am a control freak. Like, I need to have every single day planned out, every year planned out. This needs, and it's not great. I need you to give me a little bit of that go with the flow energy.
Sis, sometimes you've just got to close your eyes, pray to God, and then just hope that, you know, it's all going to work out. And I feel like, yeah, faith is definitely a big thing, because you never want to look back on life, especially like when anyone has a career like sport where there is going to be an end eventually. Like, I just personally don't want to look back on my career and just wish and hope that, oh, I would have stuck it out for 1 more year or 2 more years or something like that. And so, yeah, it's just that whole thing of living with no regrets. So hopefully you can get to a stage where you're kind of living with no regrets. And
I want to, I'm trying.
You're trying. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Oh, sorry. Hi, Abby.
I don't think I want your help, because the last time you offered me help, you said it was going to work out together, and I don't feel like dying yet. So,
and now we have an audience of a few people. We need to somehow figure out a day where we can actually go and exercise, please. I gave you this offer in person.
I know, but listen, I used to be a cheerleader in high school, so I could cheer for you on the side.
You can teach me some stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just used to running. You could do backflips, you know.
No, I was doing the basic choreography, like.
Fair enough.
I can hold some pom-poms and I can hold your water, but I don't think I'll be doing any kind of workout with that. That would be embarrassing. That would be.
It's something. It just gave me a flashback of like Bring It On or something. That's why I was thinking of backflips, because I thought, oh, okay, so what can this girl do?
No, I can't do that.
Okay, well, we'll work with what we've got.
Yeah, give me a basic 8 count. I could do that. D to the E to the F. I can't even spell it. It's enough.
We'll work on it. Don't worry yourself.
Everything is fine. I wanted to go back to what you touched on before you answered the question, when you said it's important for you to remember that you are a person outside of being an athlete. I think that was so profound, and we just skimmed over it, so I had to bring it back a little bit. I think for me in my field, there are some times where I feel like I am this persona that people see, but they don't see the person behind it. And so a lot of the time I feel like people don't see who I am behind what I do.
Yeah.
What's that like for you in your field?
Do you know what? It's extremely, I say it's difficult, because a lot of athletes, we kind of look at what the greats have done and try and mimic kind of their mentality of, you know, being isolated, not going out as much and all that kind of stuff. And then you realize, but wait, they gave everything that they had to the sport, which is fantastic. They've got, you know, a great story behind it. But then it's just like, well, at what point did they feel like they were happy as an individual and all that kind of stuff? And just because of the times that we're living in now and people being more aware of like mental health and all that kind of stuff, it's just something that is in my mind that I need to make sure that I'm actually happy. I need to make sure that I'm actually okay, because pushing through training, you know, I can do that. I've been doing that for years. But then if it leads me to the point where after training I'm sad or going into a depression and all that kind of stuff, like that's not productive. That's not helpful whatsoever. So I feel like for someone like me, I try and do things to make sure that I, Desiree Henry, are happy, the individual, not the athlete.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I'm happy, you know, I can train well, I feel good down at the track. And yeah, it's just remembering and reminding myself when others aren't going to remind me that, you know, I'm a person first.
I love that. It's kind of rings true to like what we've been talking about in our soft girl season and like taking care of ourselves. And I like to put it as, you know, like when you're on a plane and
Yeah.
if we crash, you have to make sure you put your own mask before you put it on somebody.
Yes.
So like, I love that you said that and that it holds that much importance for you, because a lot of people can get lost in the job that they do where
Yeah.
show up as every day, that they start to neglect the actual person behind it. So
Exactly.
we have two questions that came in, and I don't, hold on, I'm trying to find it.
No problem.
Maisie Boyland said, did you know you always wanted to be a runner, and do you have highs and lows?
Okay, so the first part of the question, did I know I always wanted to be a runner? Initially, no. Like, the crazy thing is, I'm the youngest. I've got 3 older sisters, and I was really and truly that little sister that just was copying everything that my older sisters did, whether it was down to like their clothes, their hairstyles, like just hi, like I would just want to be like you. And I was just fortunate enough that my one sister did athletics. And so naturally, being who I was, I thought, let me go and give athletics a try. And it was maybe only until I was about 12 years old where I started taking athletics seriously in school. And I realized that I was actually pretty good at it, that I thought, oh my gosh, like I want to be a runner. I want to be a professional athlete. So I would say, yeah, around 12 years old, I thought, yeah, I want to make this into my career. And then when it comes to highs and lows, yes, I definitely have highs as well as lows. Do not let the smile fool you on social media. Like in real life, it's hard. It's hard for all of us. But I would say the lows of life or in general, of course, are injuries. And I've had quite a few. I've had a couple of knee surgeries, and getting through that kind of rehab and all that kind of stuff, like that's not a fun thing. You know, I want to be out there running as fast as I can, lifting heavy weights, and then when you're kind of learning how to walk down the stairs again, like that's definitely been a low moment. But even whenever I go through the lows, I always think to myself, like, this is not going to last forever. Like, yes, it may not end tomorrow or the next day, but sooner or later I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, oh my God, see, it was in the past. So I try to not dwell on the lows as much, because I'm like, this is just temporary, this isn't life.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question.
I love that. I love your positivity and your positive outlook, because some people will get scared out of doing what they want to do because of the thought of the low, like the thought of, if I break my leg, it's all over. And you're like, no, it's not all over. You break your leg and then you learn to walk and you get back up and keep it pushing. Like,
Exactly.
period. There's another question. Shax is asking, oh, okay, wait, hold on. It said, we missed you last year on the athletic scene. Will we see you this year? We missed humility.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Trust me, I missed being out there as much as I would have liked this year. or yeah, this season. And yes, I'm really working hard to ensure that you will see me a lot next year, running some really good times. That's why I'm in winter training right now. That's what's like keeping me focused and just wanting to work so hard just to get back to where I know I can and beyond. So I appreciate your message, and it's nice to know that I was missed.
And beyond.
And beyond. And beyond. Like, that's it. Here for a long time. That's the plan.
So, forgive me, I'm not too well versed in athletics. Winter season, like, how long does that run for?
So, winter season. So, we started our winter season, I would say, end of September. And it runs all the way until, say, February. Late February. And that's because I feel like universally the temperatures are quite low, so it's actually quite dangerous for us sprinters to go outside and compete. So then a lot of countries have built indoor facilities, so your regular distances, some of them will be cut short. So like the 100 meters, you'll have the 60 meters inside. And yeah, it's just like a smaller version of athletics, but yeah, we just call it the winter season. And to be fair, that's like the chance and opportunity for people to get back strong. You know, we would have had a break, you know, get back strong, focus on the goals for the next year, and prepare as best as we can to ensure that when the outdoor season comes, which is March, April, that we're like ready to run fast and fly.
Hear that. It sounds to me a lot like hibernation, you know, like when animals go into like hibernate for the winter and they come out like a whole new person.
That's it. That's what we call grinding season. Yes, this is it.
So it's like you low-key have a head start into like when a lot of people think like when the new year starts, I'm going to start doing this, or when the new year starts, you start in September.
Yeah, we started from now. If you're like, I think in athletics, if you're waiting to the new year to start your goals and resolutions, baby, I feel like that's just a little bit too late. Like, because these are crucial months. Like, you want to enter the new year feeling good, having an understanding of where you're at when it comes to your training, you know, mentally feeling strong, physically feeling strong. And for a lot of athletes, you know, it's competition time come January, February, March. Mm-hmm. So yeah, once again, December will be just a little bit too late.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I have a question, like, it's like for a friend.
Okay.
Me.
Say it, girl.
So like, for those of us who want to, like, you know, get a head start in terms of getting in the gym, imagine like they've never been to the gym before, like not me, obviously. Yeah. Never been in the gym before, aren't good with the workout and that kind of stuff, but they want to get a head start before 2023. Like, what's the workout routine? And
the workout routine,
like those heavy things that you be lifting and stuff, like just easy, nice and easy.
To be honest, I feel like given the lockdown, a lot of people were offering free advice when it came to different workouts, etc. So I feel like there's two things. One thing is bring a friend, because I just feel like sometimes I'm just imagining if I was to go to the gym by myself, never been to before, it can be quite intimidating, because suddenly, you know, you're in a place where you've got loads of people who know what they're doing, and then you may feel like the odd one out, like, okay, what do I do? Are people staring at me? All that kind of stuff. If you bring a friend, it's just like, even if both of you are anxious, at least you have someone there to kind of like lower the anxiety and all that kind of stuff. And then the second thing that I would recommend is just making a list of at least four exercises to do in the gym. So that means you can Google stuff, look on YouTube, but have 4 exercises written down, and that can be your complete workout, because then you can like increase the amount of sets that you do, and then also increase the amount of reps that you do, and before you know it, you've got yourself like a good 35-45 minute workout just from 4 exercises. So I would just say, like, take it in baby steps. Again, try and bring a friend if you can, and then just pick 4 exercises, and then yeah, increase the reps and sets.
Okay. What if, and
yeah,
question's not for me.
Okay.
Question. What if like none of your friends work out? and then what if you have one friend who works out, but she's like an Olympian, so you don't want to go to the gym?
When would this ever happen? No, I'm kidding. The second thing that I would suggest is listening to music. Oh my goodness. I hope that whoever this message reaches, that this person enjoys listening to music, because it's just like, that's another way to minimize the distractions around you. Again, reduce any kind of anxiety. Create a playlist that you know when you're at home is going to get you moving, it's going to get you feeling good. So the moment that you put on those headphones or whatever, now you're in your own world, now you're in your own comfort. You don't have to worry about what other people are doing or looking. And then also, music is a good thing, depending on the playlist, just to find a rhythm. So whether you're on a treadmill, like you can go to like the certain beats of the song, like just to kind of maintain the rhythm there. Or you can get like a really, really good hyped up song if you're lifting some heavy weights and, you know, like you've got doubt in your mind, but according to this music, you're a boss, you're the best that there's ever been. And it's that kind of thing. So I feel like there's a really, really big like power when it comes to music. So I'm a big advocate that if you are going to go by yourself, make that fire playlist. And yeah, I just hope that it zones you out and prepares you for a great workout.
What is your go-to currently in the gym? Like, what's the song that really gets you like moving?
Woo, child. There is a mixture of songs. I'm thinking of the clean versions to an extent, because in my defense, some of these songs that, you know what, the lyrics may not be the most positive. The beats go crazy. The beats is what I'm working with. The beats tell me, oh my gosh, okay, like I'm a boss kind of thing. But there's a few Beyonce songs. Naturally, I'm a Beyonce stan over here, Beehive.
All of them.
Yeah, there's definitely a few Beyonce songs that I could just like always rely on to kind of get me going for a workout, whether it's a hard workout or easy. Like, yeah, Beyonce is always my backup.
I love it. I did a brief stint in the gym like during the pandemic, because I thought like I was gonna get hot in the pandemic. It didn't happen. But I would like put on these headphones and I would listen to Megan Thee Stallion, and I thought I was doing something, but I wasn't.
Sis, the thing is, can I also add a disclaimer? If you are going to listen to music, you got to still work out, because there's been a couple times where I've done workouts for myself and I'm like, have I even done my first step? There's me two-stepping side to side, looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, no, I am here to just do a workout. The music definitely makes you feel good, but let it make you feel good to do the actual work.
Yeah, that's what was missing when I went in.
You should have messaged me then. I would have been like, ma'am, it's time to work out.
Just then, I'm not going back there no more. It's not.
Again, baby steps.
Okay, so you're in this winter season where you're going hard at it before you come out as this better, new, and improved version of yourself in spring season of next year.
Yeah.
It take for you to, because from September to February is quite a long time.
Yeah.
Take to stay focused, but also to maintain that level of focus.
Yeah. It takes a lot. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, every day I wake up and I'm like, yes, let's get it. There are some days where I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like a day like today, because I woke up raining. Just raining once I opened up the curtains. I had a look at the app. I was hoping that by the time that I would go to training, you know, the rain would have gone down. No, it persisted. But it's that whole thing of like, I'm glad that there's a part of me that wants to do this, that wants to work hard, because that part of me started to pack some a hat and some other like change of clothes, because I knew that my running workout I would have to do outside anyway. And so it's just like, it's hard to explain. Like, you've got to want it. But again, there's got to be a part of you that wants it so bad that you're willing to go outside and run in the rain. You're willing to, you know, wake up, be irritated that I'm about to choose to run hard, lift some heavy weights and catch my breath from exhaustion, but I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. It's just like, yeah, at some point you've got to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, well, what do you want? And then once you have that set in stone, you've got to go after it. Like, again, it's not going to be easy, but just hope that there's a strong part of you that is willing to make those sacrifices. Like, yeah.
Love that. That's a good question to ask yourself. What is it that's worth it? What is it that will have you waking up dead early in the morning, like what are you chasing? What are you aspiring to that is worth putting all that work in?
Exactly.
If you're thinking in terms of, and obviously you're talking about athletics, but even in day to day, or if someone has business aspirations or educational aspirations, it's still something that you can apply day to day when you wake up. Like, what is it that's going to push me to go and get it this morning?
Exactly. No, you're completely right. It is that. I feel like that mentality, like you mentioned, can be used in any walk of life. And it's just that understanding that it's not going to happen in a day. It's an accumulation of days, accumulation of weeks, accumulation of months. But the day that you start, like day one, I always try and continue that momentum because I don't want to have to restart again from day one. It's just like, I'm on the treadmill now. Yes, day 4 is ridiculously hard, but I don't want those previous days to feel wasted. Again, I understand what my goals are. And yeah, it's hard, man. You've got to talk to yourself, whether it's out loud, go call a friend to remind you what your goals are, like have other people to hold you accountable. Like, yeah.
Do you have that, like an accountability group of people, like when you're down, that are gonna like speak life into you and like remind you, like, go get it? Because if you call me, I'm gonna be honest, if you call me, I'm gonna tell you to sleep.
Yeah, you're gonna say, go to sleep, sis. It's cold outside. Go get that hot water bottle.
It's raining. Go to sleep.
No, do I? Do you know what? Yes, I do. I have my sister. This is a sister. I have my sisters, plural. And it's only because they know what I'm like. So if I'm calling them, usually I can just get on and do it. But if I'm calling them and I'm just like, I want to stay home today, they'll ask me like 2 things. They'll ask me, okay, is your body hurting? Like, do you have an injury or something? And if I'm like, no, then they're like, I'm sorry, Desiree, then it's, you got to go to training. Like, I'm not going to tell you want to go, like, stay in bed and relax and all that kind of stuff. Because they're just like, we know you. We know that, you know, you're maybe fishing for someone to give you that green card that you can go home. But they're just like, it's not going to come from them. And it's just kind of nice when you have a family or group of friends that truly know you, because they'll push you. Like, no one's going to offer to do the training session for me, may I add. When you guys are telling me, yes, Desiree, go to training, I'm like, oh, hello, can you not join me? But again, it's just that everyone has that support in mind, that they want to see me give my best at all times.
Yeah, so, I love it. Because sometimes you actually do need that tough love. Like, you don't need a yes woman or who's always going to be in your corner. Like, yeah, you need someone who knows you well enough to be like, get up and do it even when you don't want to.
That tough love. That tough love. Sometimes we all need it. I'm sorry.
People face, but then when you get through it, it's like, okay, well, thanks for that.
That's like honestly the greatest feeling. Like, there's been so many sessions where in the morning I've been like, I don't want to do this today. And then I go to training and then my session's done and I'm like, whoa, that was such a good session. And I was about to waste it being in bed watching Big Bang. Like, it's not going to be, you know, then when I get back home, like, it's just absolutely so crazy. And it's just like the power of the mind. Like, you've really got to train yourself that pain is temporary. Certain stuff actually isn't hard in life, and you just got to keep pushing through.
So you're saying Big Bang Theory is your show to watch?
It is my guilty pleasure. Like, bear in mind, this is maybe like the 5th time that I've watched it beginning to end, and I still laugh at the jokes as though it's the first time I've ever heard it. But I'm a creature of habit. I don't know. It's just like a comfort thing.
I'm the same. I watch the same shows. Like, at autumn time, I have to watch Gilmore Girls again from the beginning.
That's one show I've never watched.
Really?
Add it to my list.
Yeah, I think for me it's nostalgic because I used to watch it when I was like in school.
Okay.
What's gonna happen? So it's one of those like background shows. I also watch Grey's Anatomy over and over again.
Grey's, I was hooked. This is maybe a couple of years ago. Maybe this is a new show. Once I finish Big Bang again, maybe I need to go and jump back onto Grey's, because it had me feeling like, you know, if someone was to pass out or whatever, like, not only could I help resuscitate them, if they had something like stuck in their lung, that I could perform a complete like opening up of their chest, and yeah, full sense of who I am.
Yeah, no, I literally could do a surgery tomorrow. That's how much Grey's Anatomy I've watched.
I'm you know, a doctor, an honorary doctor. Just call me Dr. Des. Dr. Henry, you know, if you need me. Oh, sorry, we've got another Big Bang fan. Fantastic.
Oh, love it. I used to watch it, but yeah.
My sister isn't really a fan. She can't jump on it, and I'm like there cackling with my eyes watering because it's the most hilarious thing, and she's just like, yeah, it's not really my vibe. So each to their own. For the big fans, the fans.
I've never finished. I never watched the last season. I used to watch it like when it was on TV. I might now because you're looking at me like that.
I'm glad you noticed.
But I did watch Young Sheldon.
See, that's one thing I couldn't get into, surprisingly. As much as I love Sheldon as a main character, I couldn't get into Young Sheldon. But yeah.
It was on TV, and it was like, you know, one of them ones where they played it all day. So I didn't like go out of my watch it, but I was like, oh, okay, I didn't change the channel. It was all right.
I think this was like the Channel 4 days where that and so many other shows would be on. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So, we've got a question that's come in from Scott Strickland.
Lovely.
Desiree, I love watching sprinting. What is your opinion? How do you make athletics more popular?
Oh, that is a good question. I feel like we always debate as athletes, as athletics people, how do we make our sport more popular? It's difficult because I feel like the number one thing is people being able to have access to our competitions. Like they should be on the mainstream television networks, whether it's on BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5. But unfortunately, the best way for people to watch our sport is through online, you know, having to find a link from a different country's website and then try and translate it and all that kind of stuff. It's actually made it really, really difficult. So I feel like each country, again, needs to try and have maybe 3 or 4 main networks that regularly show athletics. And given that, you know, the indoor season is coming up right now, I know where to find all of the competitions that my training partners are going to be competing in. But for the Joe public, even my mom at home, you know, it's difficult. So I would say that. And then there's the other thing of athletes. We don't compete all year round like you have football, which I completely respect because, again, there's always something for people to watch and kind of be excited over. But like I mentioned about my winter training, like for 4 or 5 months, we're just in a little tunnel just training. But maybe because it's universal that all athletes are going to be doing winter training during this time, that there needs to be like an athletics TV show where, you know, someone goes around and not like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but it's just like a TV reality show of like seeing what us athletes actually get up to, because I feel like there's moments in our winter that are just as impressive as what we do on the track, given our strength, the type of training that we do. I feel like people will be interested to see what we're doing beyond those 10, 11 seconds. So if any networks are, you know, looking for ideas, again, I am available for cast members.
The Real Housewives of the Track?
The Real Housewives of the Track. Like, yeah. Oh my God, sign me up, please. Although I'm not a wife, but can we just have the Real Track? A spin-off? Or unless someone wants to come marry me real quick just so I can be eligible, I mean, you know, whatever works, whatever works.
To be fair, a lot of the housewives aren't married, so it isn't, it's just the
title of it. The title of it. I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Neither here nor there.
No,
but for anybody listening, she did just say she's available for marriage.
I mean, I was putting my hand up for the TV show, but that's a conversation for another day.
The show. Okay, we have more questions. Laura asked, what is your favorite film?
Oh, my favorite film has to be Love and Basketball. Oh, but it's very, very, very close to Dreamgirls.
My dream girl.
Exactly. Okay, I changed my answer. My favorite movie is Dreamgirls because I realized I know all of like the songs. I even bought the CD when I was younger, like the actual soundtrack. Like that's a diehard fan right there. So yeah, Dreamgirls. Like we gotta love a good musical, some amazing singing. Beyonce is in it. You know, it can't get any better than that.
Queen.
Yes.
Supposed to love me.
Hey. Supposed to. Oh my! Don't get me started. Do not get me started.
Letitia says, hey girl, this is such an amazing topic. I was wondering, how do you stop yourself from putting too much pressure on yourself? Always trying to beat your best, but also take care of yourself.
Whew! Oh my goodness. I will be very honest in saying that I struggle to not put so much pressure on myself. Like, that's a 1,000% fact. And because of it, I felt like I needed like help to figure out, okay, you know, I needed to stop being so hard on myself, and someone just saying it wasn't enough for me. I felt like I really needed to take a step back and understand, well, why am I putting so much pressure on myself? And I was only able to find that answer by going to therapy, like not regular sports therapy, you know, where it's all about, you know, channeling my strength and getting in the zone for those few 11 seconds or whatever. This was just about making sure that I'm okay and making sure that, again, I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. And through that, I was able to figure out, okay, well, where did all of this come from? That constant need to want to be the best, to thinking that, you know, working so hard is the be all and end all. And I felt like once I was able to break all of that down, it allowed me to have a better understanding of myself, and ultimately not be so hard on myself. So I'm not going to personally reveal all of the stuff, but I would say that going to therapy was a big way for me to figure out how to not be so hard on myself. Sorry, was that all of the question or part of the question?
I think that was all of the question, but the question, I don't know what's going on today.
So I hope that helps to answer your question as best as I could.
Nobody asked me because I'm not an athlete, but I
but also, how would you deal with, like, because I use therapy as a way to like try and figure out how to not put so much pressure on myself. How do you in everyday life figure out different ways to not put pressure on yourself?
Okay, therapy.
Okay.
I one thing I've noticed about myself, like, I don't like to just do one thing. I like to do a lot of things at once. Exactly. And in doing so, I put a lot of pressure on myself and give myself deadlines where other people, like, they would be fine if it doesn't happen on day or at this time, but I put that pressure on myself. So also going to therapy was kind of that peeling back the layers of, like, why do you feel the need to always be on? Why do you feel the need to be in control? Why do you feel the need to always just be moving from one thing to the next? And I realized I have an issue because I don't know how to rest. I don't know how to chill out.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, that is a story of my life. But it's really interesting and kind of refreshing to hear you say that, you know, you use therapy. What made you go to therapy? Like, nothing ridiculously personal, but, you know, why wasn't it a case of, you know, just talking to friends and family for you? Why do you feel like
trauma? Okay. I'm playing.
I'm like, you can be as honest as you want.
I'm playing, but I'm not. It was the thing where I heard people talk about therapy, and there was always this stigma of, like, going to therapy is for, like, crazy people, or, like, if you're going through something, if you're really going through something. And then when I got there, like, she was the sweetest lady. Like, she was like my auntie in my pocket. I would just, like, tell her about, like, stuff that was happening throughout my day. Nice. And the reason that I thought I was going actually turned out to be not the reason why I stayed. Wow. It was just having a sounding board and having someone to talk to who doesn't like cast judgment. They don't know the people, because if I go to my friends or my family, they know the people in my direct sphere of influence. They have biased opinions. Like, if I go talk to my mom will be like, oh, I never liked that friend for you anyway. But therapists, they're licensed, and this is what they do. Like, they can look at you completely not objectively and actually help you through it. And I don't know, I think for me, therapy was that getting to find out who I was at this stage in my life. Like, to a place where you're like, okay, you're an adult now. Like, you don't like the same things. You don't show up in the same way you used to. Like, how am I showing up in this season? And it was just that help to get me over to that other side. And I did therapy. I journal a lot.
Okay.
I just be talking to Jesus.
But I love that you're doing something about it. And I feel like that's, like, also another big step, just acknowledging that, you know what, I need an outlet, even if it's journaling, even if it's talking to a therapist. It's just like that whole thing of something's not working. I'm not just going to keep persisting and trying it over and over again. Let me try another source. And now you found something that works. So no, that's so refreshing to hear, honestly.
It takes a lot of self-reflection and like knowing like where you are at and how you want to get to the next point. Because a lot of people will be like, no, I'm great how I am. Like, don't talk to me. I'm good. But like, really humble yourself and be like, you know what? There's some things right now that I don't like. I don't like the way I'm showing up to this situation, or I don't like the way I feel about this. Like, what are these emotions I'm feeling in response to this? I mean, therapy is great. Recommend it for everybody. If better,
1000%.
That.
Oh my goodness, like it's a big game changer. 1000% recommend.
Tyler Reynolds asked,
oh hey Tyler.
Hello Desiree, how do you manage being a young athlete in school at the same time?
Well, I'm not in school now, fully grown out here, but fully grown. But when I was in school, wow, I was extremely disciplined. Again, I started athletics seriously from 11, 12. And for me, it's just like that whole thing of wanting to be good at everything or wanting to give everything your best. So when it came to school, like I would actually work as best and as hard as I could to ensure that my grades are good, especially with my parents. They were just like, yeah, athletics is great, but you need to make sure that you're getting the grades that you need, that you're educated, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just try and use that mentality of being the best that you can be. Athletics and sport is absolutely fantastic. It's the most exciting thing ever, but you also want people to remember you as the individual that worked hard when it came to their books, that individual that could read so well, that individual that, you know, put extra work in when it came to their homework, their assignments. Like especially when I was in school, I tried to avoid using athletics as an excuse as to why I couldn't do homework and all that kind of stuff. I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be that person where, you know, I could tell the whole class, oh my goodness, I did this competition and look at the project that I made, look at the detail that's in it, all that kind of stuff. And it goes back to just remembering that you're more than an athlete. Like nobody knows how long one's career is going to be, but education is going to last you a lifetime. So with that whole thing with me and my career, when it comes to no regrets, you also want to have no regrets when it comes to school. You want to put in those hours. You want to make sure that you're waking up, and even when you feel tired and you want to tell your parents that you're sick, no, you want to go to school. You want to make sure that you're getting all the assignments done, that you're having good relationships with your teachers in terms of being respectful, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's the makings of being a great individual all round, so that when that time comes in about 20 years or wherever, and those teachers are talking about you, they can say, you know what? I understand why that person made it to where they was, because they worked hard at school and away from school, and it never impacted the two. And so, yeah, that's what I would say is like the perfect ingredients just to be an all-round great individual, not just an athlete at school.
That is spot on advice, because it's not even just about excelling in your work, but it's excelling as a whole rounded individual. I love that. Max just came in with a comment and she said, I'm jealous of all athletes. You all have beautiful bodies. Facts. It's true. And it's
I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Listen, we work hard out here, like for real. So it's nice to see that our efforts are not going unacknowledged.
I guess you're working for it, but like when I got to get some abs, like I'm just
no, I love it.
I would have abs if my grandma didn't put a perm in my hair when I was a toddler.
I'm dead. Let me exit the chat from now. Let me exit the chat. And I love that you said this with a straight face too. Yes, mama, whatever you believe, honey. I ain't gonna argue with you.
No, like I would have had abs if not for my grandma. I was only a baby and she put perm in my hair, and that's, you know,
the rest is history. The rest is history. Grandma.
Okay, there are some questions that people sent in prior to our conversation.
Okay. Oh, let me turn on the light.
Okay.
A bit bright.
This is quite a lot. Okay, hold on. I don't know how to read the person's name. Okay, I'm just gonna keep moving. They said, "Are you in a calorie deficit?"
I am not in a calorie deficit at the moment. That time, I don't even like, as weird as it sounds, talking about calories and stuff, because I personally don't track them to the point that people probably think, oh my gosh, she really watches every single calorie, every single grain of rice, all that kind of stuff. It's not me. I feel like over these last few years, I'm in a position where I've started to build a healthy relationship with food. I enjoy food. I enjoy food that tastes good. And rather than feeling bad about it, I try and use that in a way that, you know, I can make healthy meals. I can have healthy meals that, you know, get the protein that I need, but at the same time, actually taste good. Like, I want to be doing a happy food dance when my food arrives rather than just looking at a simple piece of chicken and broccoli. Like, no, that's not exciting to me. But when it comes to like calorie deficits and all that kind of stuff, not so much. Like right now, it's all about increasing just, I would say, my portion sizes because of the load of work that I'm currently doing right now in this winter season. Like, I need to be able to fuel myself. Like, I'll hurt myself. I'll get, you know, yeah, I'll do some serious damage if I'm not eating enough. But as the year progresses and I get closer to racing, of course, I'll try and lower the calories, lower the weight. So the kg, my actual weight, I'll try and bring it down lower and lower in a healthy, slow way, just so that I literally just feel nice and light on the track. But it's nothing crazy, nothing unhealthy. I feel like, yeah, once again, I've got a very, very good relationship and a healthy one with food.
We love healthy relationships. I love that you cleared that up, because I think the misconception is often that if you're an athlete or if you're working out, it's chicken and broccoli and you have to watch your calories and do. So I love that you said we could eat.
You better enjoy that meal. I'm sorry. If mama cooked it or whoever, you're going to enjoy it. But it's just also at the same time, when it comes to having a healthy relationship with food, like, I'm Caribbean. I love Caribbean dishes like curry goat, plantain, rice and peas, all that kind of stuff. Every now and then, you know, you hear of athletes having cheat meals and all that kind of stuff. I would classify that as a cheat meal. So like at the end of a couple of weeks or something like that, I will sit there and divulge in a large portion of curry goat, all that good stuff. And I may even get the macaroni and cheese on the side. Like, it's just going back to feeling good as an individual, because I'm not going to lie, it's going to be playing in my mind again and again. Oh my gosh, like, I miss, you know, having this, or, oh, I know what it tastes like, but let me not have it. And it's just like, as hard as I work, best believe I'm gonna treat myself once in a while. Like, and there ain't no one gonna tell me anything different. So yeah.
One thing about me, I'ma eat.
I'ma eat. Precisely. I gotta feed the abs. That's what I tell
people. Somebody asked this, but you kind of already answered, but they want to know, at what age did you start athletics?
Yeah, so I started at 11/12 years old, secondary school. Yeah, so, and I'm an August baby, which is why I'm like 11, but then as the months progressed, 12. So I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I mean, I ain't gonna do the math, but you can Google my age. I've been doing this for a hot minute.
Yeah.
It is.
You're like, you know, you're like a vet in the game.
Can you not, please?
Ow.
I mean, yes.
Working since I was in primary school.
Precisely. I was doing a lot. Like, I really took this so seriously when I was 11, 12. Like, I'll be that kid where people will have birthday parties on the weekend and all that kind of stuff. And there's me. Oh no, I can't go because I have training. Like, I was really locked in and that person. But again, that was naturally me. It wasn't a case of my parents telling me, oh, you know, don't go to the birthday party because of training. It's just something that I wanted to do. Like, it's something that made me happy, made me excited. And let's just say I'm glad that things worked out in the sense of the medals I have and all that kind of stuff. At least I know it wasn't for nothing. Like,
I love that, because it gives insight into, like, when people are asking, how do you stay focused, or how do you show up, or how do you not lose motivation?
Yeah.
It's a firm foundation that you've built since you were young.
Yeah.
The word says something like train a child in the way that they will go so they won't depart from it. It's something that you instilled from the time that you were a child. So now it's easy. Like, you don't have to think about how am I going to be disciplined or how am I going to show up, because you've been putting in the work.
It's definitely, it's all in there. It's all been a part of me for such a long time.
So for anybody that needed that was free game. Start.
Yeah, free game. Preach, sister.
Somebody asked, I think they were a runner. They said, and I'm really sorry, but I don't know how to read their name. They said how to improve 200 meters.
How to improve your 200 meters. 200 meters is a fitness game, in my opinion. It's a combination of not just being fast, but being fit at the same time. So I would say, especially during this time of the year, winter, try and focus a little bit more on your longer runs when it comes to distances. So try a distance beyond 200 meters, like 250 meters, 300 meters, because my whole analogy is, if you can do those distances, by the time you come down to a 200, it's going to feel easy. And to whoever this person is, I'm sure that you've run a 200 meters and maybe the last 30 meters, you felt exhausted, you felt tired. And again, that's where you can just go back, do some condition work to ensure that once again, when you come down to the 200, it feels like a breeze. So yeah, try some 250s and 300s. That will be my recommendation this winter.
Do it now.
Do it now. Start today. Bring a flashlight outside and get to it.
Get outside now.
Now.
I want to take a break from some of the questions because I just remembered something that I had wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So, like we've already established, I stalk you. And I suppose where you were talking about how in the future, one of your long-term goals is to be a sports analyst type of person on TV.
Yeah.
And what I've been seeing, you've been having a lot more of those opportunities pop up. So just curious to know, like, as a bystander and as a fan, like, what is that like for you?
It feels like I'm in my element, which is very crazy. Like, I had it in the back of my mind that I've always wanted to be on TV doing like analytical stuff when it comes to sports, even presenting for a regular non-sports kind of show. And then when the opportunities did come about, especially the ITV one, because that was the first time that I actually got invited down to the ITV studios. I was there, you know, seeing all of the cameras and all of the setup. And at one point I thought, oh my gosh, like, this is real. Like, I'm about to talk on live TV. But then there was another part that was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is it. Like, this is what we've been wanting. This is what we've been waiting for. And in any opportunity that you have, it's just like, you've got to embrace it and you've just got to be so grateful for it. And so I did that one interview thinking that, you know what, I may never get another opportunity again, but in this one opportunity, I'm gonna speak as best as I can. I'm gonna be able to express my opinions, my thoughts as best as I can, in hopes that maybe someone, you know, further down the line can see the video and you know, ask me for another opportunity. And it's been interesting that I've been invited now to different opportunities, whether it's been like sports game shows or a regular game show. And again, every time it's just like, I'm just so grateful and blessed. And I'm just like, I don't think this happened by chance. Like, work did go into this behind the scenes, but it was also me taking that leap of faith of trying to show people, okay, I have a little bit of a personality outside when I run. What do you think? Kind of thing. And yeah, I'm just so glad that I didn't listen to what some other people may have said, that, you know, you should only just focus on sport and then worry about that stuff later. I'm just like, no, I'm again trying to build a firm foundation from now so that when that time does come, I have some experience and I can like thrive and flourish in it. So yeah.
Shaq says Miss Henry is well-spoken and intelligent. She is a broadcaster / analyst. Good luck in all your combined and I would say I would completely agree, because to me, like, listening, it sounds like you're in your element and this is something that comes natural to you when you are speaking or on TV or where you have to show up in a speaking role, do you get nervous?
I do get nervous, but it's that other side where it's just like, I don't want to embarrass myself on TV. So only I can control the lack of embarrassment. So now I have to try and do the best that I can when the camera is there. But yeah, at the same time, it's just like, it's another type of adrenaline rush that's exciting. So it's just like, no, I'm gonna thrive in this. Like, this is fun to me. But also, thank you so much again, Shax. Like that comment really, really made my day. Thank you.
Do you get nervous when you run?
Yes, that's a different kind of like nervousness. I get more nervous for my competitions than I do for the talking events, because it's just like that, going back to what someone asked before about putting pressure on yourself and all that kind of stuff. Like when you stand there, it is your last name or your name that's on that bib. It's not your physio, your coach, or whoever. It's nothing like that. It's your name. And sometimes that can get overwhelming. And then, you know, if it's at a major championship or, for example, trials, you know what this one race or whatever means if it works out well. But then you also know what it means if it doesn't work out well. So it's kind of hard sometimes to channel and battle those instincts and turn it into something where it's just like, you know what, regardless, I believe in my training. I know that I'm ready to go. I've rehearsed enough times. Like, let's go. Like, yeah. So it's hard sometimes to get into that space, but you have to kind of be aware of your surroundings in a way.
I'm glad that you answered that question that way, because it's giving. So when I was a kid, I used to watch Beyonce, like behind the scenes and like all, like every.
I like her docu-series. Yeah,
all of them. One thing she said around like the Sasha Fierce era, she was like, I get nervous every time I get on stage, but that the nerves is what fuels me to go out there and go hard. So it sounds a lot like what you're describing.
Oh, most definitely. It fuels you like no other, because it also gives you that sense of confidence. No wonder why Beyonce has like an alter ego, because then when you do stand there, it's just like, yes, this is my name. Yes, I am about to represent. Like, let the show begin. Lights, camera, action kind of thing. Like, yes, it's other people on the stage in the sense of like other people on the lanes in the trap, but it is still that moment to be like, let me showcase the best that I've got, and it just so happens to be running.
I love that. Tyler asks, my goal is to become a world champion. Is there a lot of pressure being out in public, and do you have friends when you are an athlete? People tell me it's a lovely and a lonely place to be. That's a good question.
Oh, that is a very, very good question. If your goal is to be world champion, I love that already, because I've actually met Tyler in person. Like, I think this is his parents, but I've met Tyler in person. He's a young boy, really, really talented, young sprinter. And if he's now saying to his parents that his goal is to be world champion, like, that just makes me so happy, because that's a kid that has a rough idea of what athletics is and what it's all about, and there's just still like, you know what, like I'm worthy of being one of the best. I'm worthy of being a world champion even at this age, and whatever I'm going to do from now is going to help me to get to the stage of being a world champion. So I think that's fantastic. Love the mentality. Is there a lot of pressure being in the public? I would say that there is a lot of pressure, but at the same time, it's what you do with it. When it comes to being in public, some athletes choose to not be on social media and all that kind of stuff altogether. And so therefore, they never have to worry about, oh, well, what's so-and-so saying online, you know, ensuring that their personal or public image is kept intact and all that kind of stuff. But then there's other people like myself that choose to be on social media, that choose to be very, very much so visible. And it's hard, because it's like sometimes you want to be yourself, and some people are not willing to accept you as yourself, but that should never mean that, you know, you shouldn't limit who you are. It's just that, are you personally ready for people to now critique some of the personal things that you may share? And as much as you may share things in a loving and open and genuine way, there's always going to be someone that finds a negative out of it. And sometimes you see those things, whether it's comments online, whether it's people sending you specific messages that aren't so nice and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's the kind of hard part of being in the public, that you open yourself up to opinions from not just the good, but the bad. And yeah, it is a lovely and lonely place, because the lonely side is just that it's your dream, it's your goal in life. Like, no one else can like live it for you. You have your name for a reason, and it's just like, well, what do you want to do with your life? And not everyone understands that, so that's why sometimes it can be lonely. But I feel like it's important to send the message that there are people out there that will support you, that will love you, that will understand. And that's when you have your close friends and family that even when you share these ideas of wanting to become a world champion, they're going to be like, yes, we love it, rather than, oh, well, isn't that really hard? Oh, well, aren't you too young to be thinking about that kind of stuff? Those are the people that you don't need in your life. But I'm just letting you know that there are people that will fuel you with that positivity and that energy. So yeah, I hope that's answered that bit.
Love that. That's the one, because I in anything that people want to do, if you're really driven and want to attain it, a lot of times you will have naysayers, and sometimes they're your friends or your family members who are going to be like, are you sure you can do that?
It's disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
It could be.
Yep. It's a lonely place to be in, but if you keep going, you're going to find your tribe, and you're going to attract people who are like you, and you're going to attract people where you draw something out in them, and they're going to want to be connected to you. So even though it's a lonely road, and all be all, you will always be drawn to someone who is like-minded, someone like you, someone who supports you.
Yes. 1,000. No, thank you. Tell them. It's completely true. Like, you just said it perfectly, honestly.
We've got another, I don't know if this is okay, it's a question and a comment. Winston says, you are so confident and focused. How did you achieve this for a young person? And then they kind of answered their own question. He said, you must have some Jamaican in you.
Not every Caribbean person is from Jamaica. May I just add that right now? I am Antigua and Barbuda, and half Guyanese. So let me just address that bit there. I'm trying to find. Oh, you are so confident and focused. What did you do? How did I achieve this for such a young person? I would say it's life and the way that I've been able to deal with things. Like, I've gone through so much stuff in my life, but then somehow days later or whatever, I find myself telling myself, you're a great individual, you're going to do great things. And through that, that's kind of like given me confidence to just, you know, keep pushing and understanding that, again, like I mentioned before, these hard times in life, they're not going to last. And when you have that understanding that these hard times are really not going to last, you tend to enjoy a lot more things. You tend to be in the moment a lot more. You tend to think, oh my gosh, isn't life so great? And even when life is terrible, you're like, okay, I know I got happiness scheduled in about 3 to 4 days. So like, let's try and keep this pushing. And yeah, I think it's also to do with like the people that I have around me. They're like very positive individuals, and sometimes you need that, because I can be a negative Nancy in my head where I'm just putting myself down. But then if you talk to a friend and they're just like speaking life into you, it's just like, wow, like I needed that. And I'm so grateful that I have friends and whoever to install that into me. So yeah, I feel like it's a combination of a lot of things.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Somebody asked them weird. I'm not gonna ask that. That's really weird. This is not the place for that.
There's always one.
Woo, okay, somebody else said, what is your favorite holiday destination?
Ooh, favorite holiday destination. It has to be Antigua. And that's because, like, I just remember going there as a kid with my parents. I think we spent one of our Christmases out there. And then, of course, I've been there as an adult. And I've traveled to many places around the world, seen a whole bunch of beaches. But in my opinion, Antigua has one of the best, like, beaches. Like, you know, when people talk about the white sand and the blue water, like, that is it. And it's not just, you know, you're off beach or something like that. There's a lot of beaches that are like that. And then of course it's that whole thing of feeling like you're home. Like, you know, when I mentioned Caribbean food, I go to down the road and it's just food, because well, I'm in the Caribbean, like everyone's got curry goat and X, Y, and Z, and it's just that feeling of, oh my gosh, you're seeing people that look like you. You're around, you know, my dad lives there. I'm around family, and yeah, it's just an amazing destination for me to go to, because I get so much out of it, from like energizing mentally and physically. Yeah, recharged. Yeah, so yeah.
Antique and tourism department needs to hit us up.
They need to just hook me up. But regardless, like, because I've been many times, that's why I'm like a heavy advocate for it, because it's beautiful. I'm even telling you, sis,
no,
you need to head out there. Or when I do go out there, we need to just plan something where we're out there together.
Just don't have me running or doing any kind of work. Don't.
I don't even run when I'm out there. We're good. Oh. Like, this is relaxation. We're gonna walk on the beach, not do curfews.
A very casual stroll. Don't do anything. Don't get my heart rate up. I don't want to.
Noted. Just dancing. That's the only thing that I'll ask, and that will get your heart rate up. But that's it.
We'll see. Okay. Another question is: do you have any tips on how to start / maintain a healthy lifestyle? I didn't ask it this time.
Oh, okay. I would say, from the way that I do things, I like to sit down and like have an honest conversation with myself. And I think the fact that whoever has asked this question, you've gotten to a stage in your life where I feel like you're ready for something great. So I feel like, let's try and keep this momentum going. Write down what your goals are: short term, medium term, and long term. I really work with the short term and long term goals, because it just allows me to just do what I need to do in a better time frame. So I think of a long term goal. Okay, by the end of this year, obviously not this year because like we've got a month to go, but by the end of next year, this is where I want to be. And then the short term goals are your everyday. What does that look like? So in order to reach that, every day I need to make sure I'm drinking 2 liters of water. Like, let it be something small that you can realistically do. Don't write down a goal that says, you know, go for a mile run every day, because there are going to be some days where you're just like, no, that is not going to happen. And then it's that whole thing of, oh, well, you know, I've messed up my routine, now I can't continue. I would just say, set some realistic goals. It can be to introduce a new fruit or vegetable once every week. That's something simple, especially now with markets that are outside. Like, you can get a bunch of fruit that is much cheaper than supermarket places, I have to add. But you know what I mean? It's like nothing that's gonna make you have to spend too much. Even when it comes to exercises, rather than sometimes jumping straight into getting a gym membership, sometimes it may be a case of, well, let me do 20 minutes of a YouTube workout online just to get me going. You know, no equipment needed. I'm in the comfort of my home. You know, I've designated that time, or once a week for 20 minutes, I'm going to try and exercise. So, yeah, I would just say set small and realistic to yourself kind of goals. And that way you reduce the chance of disappointment. And I feel like in life, we're all human. No one wants to be disappointed, even amongst themselves. So it's just like, make it easier for yourself. And yeah, try and pick some simple things to work with and then stick by.
I hear that. And I did not ask that question, just so we're
I'm gonna check with you after. I'm like, show me who asked this question.
It's actually Wendy actually asked it. It wasn't me.
Oh, lovely. Oh, Wendy.
Nicholas is asking, if you had a time machine to travel back a year ago, what would be the advice that you would give yourself a year ago?
That is a fantastic question. Oh my gosh. If I was to go back a year ago, wow. Oh, that's a very, very good question. Can I get you to answer first? Because I'm in my feelings. I'm like, I would cuss myself out and just be like, you gotta hold it together. But I'm trying to find a more relatable answer.
I'm done. Okay, a year ago. Where was I a year ago? Last year, November. Okay, so this time last year, I had just moved to London. I was doing my master's.
Nice.
I just started working at like the worst marketing agency ever. I think the advice I would give myself would be, it's not always going to be like this. You will have time to reap what you've sown. You will enjoy the harvest of this season. That's what I would say.
Oh, can I say ditto? Like, yeah, it pretty much is that. Do you know what? I would just tell myself to keep the faith, like keep believing, keep your faith as strong as possible, because listen up, this upcoming year is about to be very, 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 very difficult. But most importantly, just go straight to faith as a means of coping with a lot of like stress, anxiety, all that kind of stuff. And that's where I would just remind myself or tell myself, like, you just need to keep your faith. Like, that's what's going to get you through a lot of the stuff, rather than figuring it out later. Like, that is going to be a major, major, major like help when it comes to whatever is about to come.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
I hear that, because I think for me, I went through a season where, like, you know, like, you get over something and you're like, that's never going to happen again. But it shows up with a different face or a different name and it happens again. And I like, in the moment, I would freeze and panic and forget, like, how did I get over this the last time?
Exactly. But sis, that's why you have to stay ready. It's a weird thing. It's just like,
I don't have to get ready.
So you ain't got to get ready. I'm glad you finished it for me. It's just like, I've gotten to a stage where I'm just prepared for anything in a way. So when I'm happy, trust and believe I'm a bask in the happiness. I'm going to enjoy that happiness, because no, I don't know what's around the corner, but I'm going to do my best to enjoy whatever positive moments that there are.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, Nicholas, the one who just asked that question, has a follow-up question. What would you expect from yourself a year in the future if time travel existed?
Oh, okay. What would I expect from myself in a year if time travel existed? Oh my goodness. I can expect that I'm back on the track doing amazing things. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, she really did it a year later. I would also expect that I'm not just thriving on the track, but I'm also thriving off the track. So somehow having a business head and starting to plan other things. And by the way, a year goes by fast. I feel like we can all attest for the fact that we're in November.
Yep.
The year is coming to an end.
Yep.
So I guess those would be like the main two areas where I would look back and just be like, or tell myself in that time, like, wow, like you did that in that whole year.
Love that. I think I would probably say the same. And a year from now, I would want abs. And
Manifest it. It starts with the manifestation, okay?
I would want abs. But also, yeah, to say, like, this is, for me, I started doing like vision boards at the beginning of the year. And I put it on my like lock screen on my like laptop and my tablet. And the other day I was looking at it and I was like, I've done every single thing on this vision board. So if I'm looking at a year in advance, I'm like, okay, what's next? Like, what is going on this vision board next? Something that can be a daily reminder, so that when a year does pass, it's like, oh yeah, we did that.
I'm so glad that you mentioned the vision boards, because that's something that I've like used this year, or this, I say these last couple of months. Like, I just bought myself a big like whiteboard and stuck all the different things that like I needed and wanted, aiming for, all that kind of stuff. And when I was talking about like accountability and personal accountability, sometimes that is your reminder, having that vision board. You know, whether you don't want to talk to a friend or have whoever remind you, when you look at that vision board, you knew what kind of mind frame that you were in, and seeing it is just like, I put that up there for a reason. I wrote down this scripture for a reason. I wrote down that goal for a reason. I best get working to it, kind of thing. So yeah, I love that, you know, power of the vision board, and the fact that you've like been able to tick off so many things that was on it can you add, you know, being a millionaire on there? I would like to be taken care of too, sis.
Right here, please, pronto.
Thank you. Just don't forget me. Just, okay? Just don't forget me.
As long as you forget me when you go to Antigua.
Noted. I got you. You got me. Noted.
Nicholas said, keep shining, queens. I appreciate you, and I'm so proud of both of you. Oh my gosh.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Are powerful and will accomplish everything this year.
Oh,
that's
I appreciate the positive energy tonight. Yes, people. I appreciate it.
holding to the word, claiming it.
Claiming it. Claiming it.
We've gone over time. But are you good to stick around? Because I still have a boatload of questions that people...
That is fine. I've got my water. I'll probably have to go in like 10 minutes max. But
okay.
Yeah, we good. We good.
Cool. I'm gonna try and get through these.
Okay.
Who are your favorite Olympians? Somebody asked.
Favorite Olympians, hands down, Allyson Felix. She is an American sprinter who's now retired. But Allyson Felix was one of the original athletes for me that made me think I can do this, or I want to do this, because I think the first time that I was watching her, she was in Beijing, or at the Beijing Olympics, and she was maybe 17, 18 years old, and she came away with, I think it was either a silver or a bronze medal. And it was like, just in that moment, I thought, that's a young girl on TV up against these, you know, older professional individuals, and she's gone and got herself a medal. And I think it was just from seeing that, I thought, wow, if she can do it, so can I. So I feel like Allyson has definitely had a big part or big impact when it comes to like my career and getting started properly and pursuing and pushing. And overall, she is an incredible athlete. Like, you just need to Google her accolades. Like, let me tell you, any championship or competition, this lady is going to come back with a medal. Like, we don't call her the GOAT of our sport for nothing. Like, she is just that good. Respect to her, all that kind of stuff. So in my head, like, she is honestly just the number one, like, my favorite athlete. I think I've just got one where I'm just like, yeah, like, you're it for me.
I love that, because you also touched on the importance of representation and seeing somebody who looks like you in a space you want to be in.
Yes. Oh, 1000%. It was just like, oh my goodness, this is, again, a young Black girl that's going out there and doing something so positive, amazing. She just looks so professional, even at her young age. And I think even from seeing that, that's how I also developed that level of professionalism of, oh, okay, well, whenever I see Allyson Felix on TV, she's also very, very poised, very, very focused, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, when you are growing up, those are the kind of things that you do pick up on. And so, yeah, once again, she's just been an incredible role model for myself.
Shout out Allyson. Okay, somebody asked, I think someone asked like a variation of this, but they've asked, what is the toughest obstacle that you faced and how did you overcome it?
Toughest obstacle. There's been a few. Let me just narrow it down to one. I mentioned like my knee injuries before, but I, upon reflection, think one of the toughest obstacles I had to overcome was when I was at a championship. This is like during the Olympic year in 2016, where I eventually won my medal. But I would say a month before, you know, just got to mention that in there. But this was...
Go home. Argue with somebody.
I'll let them know, you know. But this was maybe a month before the Olympics. That I did a race. It was a European Championships. It was very, very big. I was like up there to get a medal, like one of the picks to actually get a medal. And in the final, my body just completely like seized up. I had cramp everywhere. There's like a picture of me laying down on the track and all that kind of stuff. And then what was extremely hard to overcome was not understanding why my body had gone through that. Now making the Olympic team, I'm in an Olympic final, and then battling with my mind that I hope this doesn't happen again, because I'm on, you know, the pinnacle of our sport. I'm on the Olympic stage. Like, I can't afford to have any cramps, have any problems, have any injuries, because it doesn't just mess it up for myself, but in an event like the relay, it messes it up for my whole team. And what team are we representing? Great Britain. So it's just like, okay, now we're representing a whole nation. And so I felt like that was one of the scariest and hardest moments to come from having a really, really bad race a month before the Olympics to now being at the Olympics and thinking, honestly, being scared that it's going to happen again, but channeling all the positivity I could to make sure that I'm going to be okay. It's going to be fine. My body's not going to cramp up, etc., etc. And these aren't things that you could necessarily like share with other people, because at that time I wasn't really seeing a therapist. So it was just like me internalizing all these thoughts. So yeah, I was able to do it. You know, obviously we got the batting round and all that kind of stuff, but I would say that was definitely one of the hardest things that I've had to like overcome. Yeah.
I hear that. And it's interesting that you said that, like, let's rethink, it wasn't the knee injury, but it was this. And this wasn't even like, obviously there was the physical aspect to it, but the majority of the obstacle was all in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
It was that you being in your own head, which can sometimes be a lot more detrimental than an actual physical ailment.
Oh, most definitely. Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Your mind is so powerful. Oh my gosh, it can help deflect pain. It can insert excitement, all that kind of stuff. But it's just like how you use it and just understanding that you're in control of it. Like you've got to tell your brain what you want of it, not the other way around.
Period. Okay, I'm going to give you one last question. Let me find a good one.
Okay.
I have been on your time today. Hold on.
Girl, you've been up in all my business, but it's okay though. It's okay. It's what we signed up for.
Let me ask you one question before I start getting crazy. Okay, I kind of touched on this one, but I think this is a good place to end it. What are your plans and goals for the future? So like your long-term goals.
Long-term goals. Oh, this is a very, very good one. Sis, I'm not gonna lie, you may have to ask me another question, because one thing that I also did know is the power of talking and the power of not everyone needs to know your business. Like, it's so crazy because there have been things that have been so exciting that I've wanted to do X, Y, and Z. And if you tell someone who you think like cares and whatever, somehow they go and do a whole madness. So this isn't anything personal against you. This is just me learning from experience and just wanting to protect my future ultimately. But then just know in the future, I'm gonna be like, sis, this is what I wanted to tell you about. I just couldn't tell you in the time.
I hear that.
I understand that one.
I hear that because not everybody has the best intentions.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's best to work in silence and let your work speak for itself. And
exactly.
If you have those goals, you know them and you keep them close circle and water your seeds and people who are going to speak life into it, and no trolls.
You get it. You understand it. You understand it.
Shax has a suggestion. She said long-term coach and broadcasting, short-term continue winning medals.
I like that. I could work with something like that. I really, really, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So there's your answer from Shax.
All right. I've taken up too much of your time, so I'm going to let you go. Before you go, drop us. What's your YouTube? What's crack-a-lacking? Where can we find you? What can we, like, we want to know all the things. We want to see you on the beach with your abs and stuff.
That reminds me, when you mentioned my YouTube, I'm still in the process right now of working on part 2 of my off-season holiday that I had with myself and quite a few other athletes. So stay tuned to watching that. And then that is on YouTube under Desiree Henry. I realize that my name does have an accent on it, go this way, but I will change it so that if you just type in Desiree Henry YouTube, that it should come up on YouTube. And then I'm also on Twitter, sharing some pictures. Don't really tweet that much, but feel free to give me a follow if you want, which is Desiree L. Henry. And then of course you guys are here on Instagram now, so you know that my Instagram is Desiree_LH. So yes, thank you for the plugs.
Thank you so much, and thank you for imparting us with your wisdom and your laugh. was a great time, and we have to have you on again soon.
Of course. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time, and then just creating this platform of Glow Up Sister that's all about positivity, raising women up, and then just allowing us to be in a space where we feel comfortable enough to talk about some of these vulnerable moments, and for other people to ask questions and kind of hear what's going on. So thank you, honey. Like, you're doing
girl. Stop.
And can I just say thank you to everyone that's also asked a question today, tuned in on the live, asked some questions, and then, yeah, just been here for like a good vibe. So thank you guys also.
Boy, did we have a time tonight.
Boy, let me tell you.
Thank you again so much for everybody watching. We are back here next week, same time, same place. Check it out, follow, do all that great stuff. And in the meantime, continue glowing and continue growing. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, everyone.